many of you have done projects upon projects and you just keep on saying, this is the year I'm going to do it? Confidence is very important, and we cannot ignore the fact that, how you look, how you feel is very important. So, there's that common phrase in Kenya these days, in this economy. Okay, yes, the economy is beating us left, right, and center, but you do not have to be a victim of all these things that are happening. And you use what you have and manage it well, so that even with all these things happening around, we are able to manage our finances properly for our future. And that is especially important for all of you who are moms and dads, because you have children. So be very, very deliberate about having a checklist and ensuring that you guard your time and energy properly. Then you must also set boundaries, okay? Because they say that work never ends. It's you who finishes. Work doesn't finish, it's you who finishes.
Tonight, I am going to host you and our speaker, Claire Munde, in understanding how we should be able to see if we are stuck and how do we get unstuck. First and foremost, do we even know that we are stuck? Sometimes when you're drowning, you do not know whether you are drowning. That is what Claire is going to assist us in understanding. What are the telltale signs that indeed you are stuck in your career? What tools, what strategies, what kind of attitude do you need so that you can get out of that comfort zone? I will invite Hosea to briefly introduce Dandel with what we do. Hosea, you can be able to come on board and tell us what Dandel does.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Just a moment. I hope I'm visible. So my name is Buliba Hosea, founder and managing partner at Denidel. So Denidel is a HR consulting company based in Kenya and with presence in other countries like Cyprus. And we offer HR solutions for businesses and individuals. So for individuals, we do career services like CV revamping, LinkedIn, cover letter. We also do interview coaching and career coaching. For businesses, we do HR consultancy, the whole range from recruitment to setting up HR departments. That's just in brief in terms of what we do. And of course, we also do team building for different organizations. Yeah, so welcome to the session today. I'm looking forward to, we are hosting Claire Munde, a very good intellectual, a very good friend. So we are looking forward to seeing what she has in store for us. And I hope we shall all enjoy. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Hosea. That is a very good introduction. Now, put your fingers where I can see them so that we can count how good Claire is. 1, Claire is as a financial specialist. She has all the details that she loves issues with dealing with finance, how you can invest, how you can save. If you want to know things about finance, Claire is the person to ask. 2, Claire is a HR professional. For those who do not know, she is a HR professional. 3rd, I hope you've reached the 3rd finger. Claire is a journalist. She specializes in digital journalism. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now, Claire Munde is a writer. In the next few weeks, she'll be launching her first book called Bounce Back Babe. I have read the book. It is wonderful. Issues to do with finance, issues, how you should prepare going back to work, what should you do, the works, the details, the pieces that are important for you to bounce back once you've given birth. And by the way, it should not be limited to ladies only, because as professionals, we should be all round. But tonight, Claire is going to assist us unpack or demystify how we should know that we are stuck and how do we get unstuck. Ladies and gentlemen, go to your buttons and let us celebrate Claire Munde using any other sticker that you deem important in welcoming our speaker. It is not easy getting this very busy back-to-back lady, but God is powerful. We have been able to bring Claire to you at no cost at all. You only need a pen and your ears. Welcome, Claire Munde.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. What an introduction. Richard, you're the best. Thank you so much. And first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you to you, Richard, and thank you to Hosea. Thank you to Denidel for putting this together, for giving me a chance to be on your platform and talk to your followers as we discuss this very important issue of leveling up in our career. You know, as you said, that everybody's looking to go to the next stage, but how do you do it? First of all, you have to realize, are you stuck? Because sometimes people are not aware. Sometimes people are not aware. And if you're not aware, then you cannot move to the next stage. So for the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to talk about what to look out for to see whether you're stuck. And then if you're stuck, what are the steps that you need to take to move to the next level? And as Richard said, this is not only for women. Yes, my book is for women, but Getting Unstuck is for both men and women. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So thank you for all who have joined. Thank you for your time. So first of all, Richard has put it clearly who I am, but let me just go into a little bit more details because he has mentioned a number of things that I do. Yes, I am a journalist, but my financial background is very strong. So I went to school and I studied finance. So I'm a finance enthusiast, and how I ended up in the journalism world is because I started out as a business journalist. So a lot of people say that, you know, when you want to get into journalism, it's good to have another foundation. So for me, my foundation was business and finance, to be specific. And I also have training in HR. So that's how I got into journalism. I liked it, and I've been there for over a decade. So I'm excited to share with you tidbits from the financial world on how you need to level up. How do you prepare your finances so that you are making sure that you are sorted, the whole spectrum. So I'm excited about that. And in the next few weeks, as Richard said, I am an author. My book is ready. It's called Bounce Back Babe. And this is the first. I have actually written 3 books, but this is the first one that I'm going to publish. And we're going to be talking about that. How many of you have done projects upon projects and you just keep on saying, this is the year I'm going to do it? We are going to get unstuck. Everything that you need to do, this is the year that you're going to start making the moves towards that. So look out for the details towards the end of this webinar on how you can start making your pre-orders for my book, Bounce Back Babe. Just a little synopsis of what the book is about. It really is about, just as the title says, bouncing back. So it's a whole journey for all those moms who are going through pregnancy and then beyond. How do you manage yourself? How do you take care of your fitness? You know that confidence is very important, and we cannot ignore the fact that, you know, how you look, how you feel is very important. So there are 3 areas of topics that are covered in this book, and that is mental health. It's a very important part because, as we know, when we go through pregnancy, a lot of hormonal changes and whatnot. So we talk about mental health. Then the other thing is finances. I am very, very passionate about finances and people taking control of their money. So it's not just about saying, oh, it's difficult. Yes, there's that common phrase in Kenya these days, in this economy. Okay, yes, the economy is beating us left, right, and center, but you do not have to be a victim of all these things that are happening. NSSF, SHA, whatnot. How can you use what you have and manage it well so that even with all these things happening around, we are able to manage our finances properly for our future? And that is especially important for all of you who are moms and dads, because you have children who are looking up to you and you want to leave a legacy, not just for your children, but for your children's children. So financial bit is something that I'm very passionate about. And then last but not least, I also talk about your body. How do you keep fit? There are many people who always start the year saying, this is the year I'm going to be doing those 5,000 steps. I'm going to go to Karura. I'm going to go and walk. I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to work out from home. But do you really do it? Like, it's March now. And if you had said that you want to get fit, how many people are still on that journey or they left it off? So we're going to talk about how to bounce back also physically, making sure that you are in touch with your fitness and making sure that is in good shape, because that also affects all your other spheres of life. So that is who I am in a nutshell. And I'm so excited again to have you all as we talk about leveling up. So on to the topic of this evening, and leveling up, and why it's very important to level up in your career. You know, this is March 2025. How would you say you are when it comes to your career? Are you where you wanted to be? And I want us to be as interactive as possible. So I'll encourage you to go to the comments section, and Richard is going to be looking out for the comments as we go along for me, so that we can see what you guys have to say. But when you look at your life right now, and in terms of your career, are you where you want to be? And first of all, do you even have a plan for your career? Because sometimes you're just moving, moving with the flow, moving with the flow. Do you have a plan? Project X, Project Richard, Project Claire. What did you want to achieve for 2025 when it comes to your career? Do you have a 1-year plan? Do you have a 5-year plan? Sometimes you just go with the flow and you're like, any job will do. And then when you start complaining that you're not moving, but it's about intentionality. So I want all of you to note that down. Remember, Richard said, have a pen and a paper. Are you being intentional about where your career is going? What do you want to achieve? Because nothing happens unless you do the work. So I want you to take that into mind, that leveling up is important, because if you want to get that financial success, you want to get that freedom to be able to do the things that you want to do, you have to be thinking deliberately about your career and where you want it to go. You know, they say, there was this meme that I was watching, Richard, one time about there are people who get so scared by their bosses, and it's simply because they don't have that financial freedom. They know that if they lose their job today, then it's all over. Don't be that kind of person. Start building, putting in the foundational steps to make sure that if things happen, if you get fired, if you get retrenched, because it's a rapidly changing world, and where the kind of industry that I work in is rapidly changing. It's a digital era. Things change every now and then. You don't want to fear retrenchment, and then you're left redundant and you're like, oh my goodness, what happens? Do you have other things put in place so that in case anything happens, you're able to bounce back? Maybe in another organization, maybe you can start your own thing. So are you up to date with your skills, or you're a fossil? If you're a fossil, who is going to want to hire you? Because there are people who say they have 10 years of experience, but really your learning stopped at year 2. So if we're really honest, then you really have 2 years worth of experience, because you have never invested in getting to know yourself better, in upskilling, in getting to know other sectors that are related. So make a mental note of that as we go along. So I've divided this presentation into a number of sections. And the first thing I want us to talk about is the mind. Remember, I talked to you about my book has that mental health aspect. The mind shift is very important, because we can talk as much as we want. We can have webinars from January to December talking about how to upgrade your skills, how to level up. But if your mind is not in the right place, then what we're doing is zero work. So the very first point of call is your mindset. That is what is going to help you get growth in your career. So this is a multifaceted thing. And one thing you need to understand is that you need to stop waiting on other people to elevate you. You have to believe in yourself first. And that's where confidence comes in. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you want that supervisor to believe in you and to give you additional responsibility that is going to widen the scope of responsibilities? Self-belief. And that is all about self-work. You need to sit down, elevate your strengths, elevate your weaknesses, and understand, okay, in this area of operation, I know I have my strength. Should I be focusing there, or should I be focusing on bettering some of these other skills? So self-awareness is very important. Once you're self-aware, then you can be able to sit inside a room and say, you know what, I can offer this, this, and that. And then if you cannot do other things, you know, this is not my area of forte, but I can focus on the things that I know that I'm good at. So confidence matters. Stop waiting on people to tell you, oh, you can do it, you can do it. Sometimes you have to give yourself, you have to be your own cheerleader. Stop waiting for other people to do it for you. So what I'm saying is basically, there's this thing of having a victim mentality. Oh, the economy is not working. Oh, things don't work in this place that I'm working in. Oh, this or that. have that self-confidence, and then put yourself out there, and then others will be able to see what you have to what you have to offer. There was something very profound that I saw earlier today, actually, and it was from a Bible verse. Actually, someone was saying that, no weapon, the Bible says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So this person was saying, make sure that that weapon is not you. Are you your own worst enemy? Are you your own worst enemy? You're saying, left, right, this person is not going to destroy me, but you are your worst saboteur. What are you saying to yourself? When projects come up for taking, you're saying, oh, that one is beyond me. I don't have the skills. I don't have this. I don't have that. Are you your own worst enemy? Because sometimes you're always saying, looking outside, externally, but inside you've not done the self-work. So you're just beating yourself down. You're saying everything that you cannot do. You're your own worst enemy, and you're wondering why you're not able to go to the next level. You're not leveling up. So the thing that I'm saying here is confidence matters. Look at yourself, self-work, do the self-work, start working on yourself, know your strengths, and talk positively to yourself. That's very, very important. Now, another thing that is closely tied to this is this element of imposter syndrome. We hear that word, that phrase being thrown left, right, center, imposter syndrome. And it's usually associated with women, unfortunately, that, oh, this woman who is on our board, she's suffering from imposter syndrome. But there was something very powerful that I heard another day. And this lady was saying she does not identify with that phrase. Why do you want to identify yourself as having this certain syndrome? Why do you want to associate yourself with some kind of disability of sort? Take off that tag. The truth is that sometimes you are in rooms where you feel like, oh, I may not have all the skills that are necessary for this, but you get in there, you do the work, and then you will get to where you need to go. But this thing of being, I don't belong in this room, I don't think I'm qualified enough for this position, is not going to help you. So it goes back down to how are you talking to yourself. Ditch that imposter syndrome, start talking positively to yourself, but also doing the work. Because, there are also people who like to talk a big talk, but do not deliver anything. So don't be that kind of person. So do not talk down on yourself, but also do the work, upskill so that you can get to where you want to be. So those are very important points that I would like to mention. And then there's also this thing of, what is your mindset like? Do you think that things are always done this way? There is no other way of doing things. This is how I've always done it. And that's the way. If it's not broken, it's not going to. If it's not broken, don't fix it. If you want to grow, if you want to level up, then you have to be adaptable. You should be able to accept new things. If somebody is giving you a new way of doing things, okay, why not be open to try new things? And this is also very, very true when it comes to motherhood. And you'll see it in my book, The Bounce Back Babe. When you get children, you will be tested by these children because they are very independent minds. Their minds have not been corrupted by the world and the world telling them that they cannot do this and they cannot do that. So you'll find that children are free-spirited. And that's why they say, have a childlike spirit. Be open to doing things in a different way. You could learn a new way to do things that could even make you more efficient. So stop having this fixed mindset. If you are that kind of person who is like, I do things like this, I am not shifting this way, be open-minded, because that's the kind of growth mindset that is needed to level up in your career and in life in general. And the final thing that I'd like to talk about is resilience. Resilience, and adaptability in this job market. As I said, I work in a field that is evolving at a very fast rate. So if you are very rigid, if you have set ways of doing things, then you will find yourself being left out and made obsolete. So as things change, right now in Kenya, we have so many things that are going on. I talked about SHA, I talked about NSSF. Last month, a new band of contributions got kicked in. If you're not resilient, you'll just start complaining, oh my goodness, my pay slip is just shrinking. Instead of complaining, what can you do about it? It's not in your control unless you want to be a tax evader. And I know that's not what you want to do. You don't want to be in the wrong arm of the law. So how can you adapt? How can you become resilient in the times that we are in? So is it that you will need a salary raise? How will you get a salary raise if you are not adaptable, if your mind is fixed? So all these things are interrelated. So you have to be resilient, and that calls for being open to changes, open to new opportunities. And that's the kind of thinking that will get you to the next level of your career. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is being strategic. I mentioned this at the beginning of this webinar, and I asked how many of you have a career goal or goals for 2025, 1 year, or even 2 years, or up to 5 years, or even 10 years. I think 10 years can be a little bit, stressed because things keep changing, but 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, do you have career goals? What do you want to achieve? Or you are just happy you have a job, the rest, God will help us. So if you want to level up, you must take control of your career. Don't expect anybody to come and do it for you. You must sit down, take a pen and paper, and I also write this in my book, that you must become a fan of journaling. You must become a fan of documenting things. And you heard Richard say it at the beginning of this webinar. Don't depend on your mind. Don't think, by end of this year, I'd like to move this pay to this pay grade. You will forget. So if you're serious about making those moves, leveling up, then you must write it down. Write it down so that you can go back every now and then, even if it's a monthly check-in. Okay, what had I set out to achieve? Where am I? How far am I? What needs to change? Is there something that needs to change? They say that do not change the goal, but the way to that goal can change, okay? So the goal remains, but how you get to that goal can change because circumstances change, things change. So be very strategic, be clear. What is your goal? And I'd like people to share on this webinar, for those that are not very personal. When it comes to your career, if you're able to share, write in the comment section, what are some of the goals that you have for 2025 when it comes to your career? Whether it's upskilling, whether it's getting that pay rise, whether it's adding a different skill that is not within your realm of study, write it down for us in the comment section, and we will talk a little bit about that. So be very clear about your career goals. And remember, goals need to be smart, specific, right? Specific, time-bound. Richard, the other ones are specific, measurable,
realistic,
and time-bound, smart goals.
Mm.
So make sure they're very specific. There was that joke about, which is not career related, but it was about this person who was praying for a spouse, and she was like, yeah, I'm praying for a spouse who knows how to deal with money. I know everyone has heard about that. And then she gets a tout, because the tout deals with money every day. But you're not having a smart goal. You didn't say what kind of individual you're looking for, and that's not to say anything about a tout. But if that, you must be specific about what you want. Otherwise, anything can come. So be very smart about your goals. And then, as I said, upskilling and lifelong learning. These days, it's not about I went to university, I got a degree, and then I even got a master's degree. No, it's lifelong learning. And there are so many courses these days, whether it's paid or unpaid. And Denitel offers a number of courses as well when it comes to learning different things. So always be eager to learn, because the learning never stops. When you stop learning, you die. So make sure that you have a goal. How often do you want to learn something new? Whether it's a LinkedIn course, whether it's a Coursera course, whether it's a paid course at a university or a college, make goals to upskill constantly so that when things keep on changing, you're able to move with the times. And as we said, right now, it's the era of AI, artificial intelligence. And they say that AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. So make sure you're upskilling. Do not ignore the use of AI. It's just here to make our lives a little bit better. Understand how your field is evolving and be ahead of the curve. Don't just be seated there. I'm here, oh, my company doesn't offer training. Train yourself. It's your life, because sometimes, as I said, that is a laissez-faire kind of way of thinking, like, oh, the company should invest in training me. Sometimes, if it's not being offered, if it's being offered, good. If it's not being offered, it is your life, it is your career. Take ownership of your career, take ownership of your life, and invest in upskilling. And as I said, if the money is tight, start with the free courses. There are so many free courses that are very useful and that could help you move to the next level in your career. So closely related to that is identifying in-demand skills. No matter which sector you're in, there's always a new hot skill that is in demand. And right now, it's the era of multi-skilled people. So you cannot be only saying that I specialize only in this. There's that book about generalists versus specialists, and it's called Range. Yes, it's called Range, and it's about are people who are specialists better or the generalists better? So would you rather know a little bit of everything or a lot about one thing? So I say you need to be in between. You need to be a master of your field, but you cannot be knowledgeable in everything else. So master your field, but know a little bit about everything else. Okay, so don't be looking like you've never heard of some concepts in, let's say, medicine. Just make sure you know a little bit about everything and then master your field. Mastery is key. So as I said, the free and paid resources for your professional growth, make sure you're on LinkedIn for professionals career. This is a very important platform. Make sure you are in WhatsApp groups. There are so many WhatsApp channels that are out there, and there are many courses, both free and paid, that you can use to level up on your skills. Then, as I said, AI and tech, do not ignore that. It will make your life a little bit simpler. But then a caveat when I say this, remember, AI is to make your life a little bit simpler. It's not supposed to eliminate the use of your brain. Okay, and Richard and Hosea will tell you this, that HR professionals will be able to tell an AI-generated CV, an AI-generated application. So it's not for you to go to ChatGPT and say, use this job description and generate a cover letter from that. No, you still need to use your mind, but just use AI to enhance what you already know. So be cognizant of that. Now, the other thing that I would like us to talk about when you're trying to level up is about personal branding and visibility. And Richard, you have talked about this very many times. As a coach, Richard has talked about who knows you. He will often ask people, who knows you? If you're looking to level up, it's very important that people know you. When they think about your field, where do you work in the field that you're working in? Richard right now is an HR professional. When we think about HR, when we think about coaching, when we think about training, Richard Magoma comes to mind. So whatever field that you're practicing in, your name needs to be top of mind. I'm a journalist. When it comes to digital, I need to be top of mind when you think about digital tools. I'm in the financial sphere. When you think about personal finance, you need to be able to think about Claire Munde. When you think about motherhood and people who are passionate about content in motherhood, Claire Munde needs to come to mind. So think about your own personal field, and are you among the top voices or people that come to mind when it comes to your field? So building your personal brand is very important in visibility, and that's why I talked about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional site that's very powerful. It has opportunities for you to even share your thoughts in your field. So there are these LinkedIn offers opportunities like give advice on this particular field. So for an HR professional, this individual is maybe a troublesome individual. How do you go about disciplining this person? How would you go about it? So put your thoughts there, share your thoughts. Don't keep your thoughts to yourself. Somebody else out there, you don't know who, your next employer out there might be listening to what you're doing, looking at your content and engaging and seeing, oh, this might be somebody that I would like to work with. So don't keep your knowledge to yourself. Share it widely, and make sure that you are visible, making the right kind of noise, not just posting things that are irrelevant. So that also goes to keeping it professional, because sometimes people are one person at work and then their other social life is a totally different person, and people are like, is this one and the same person? So guard your brand. Remember that these days, the likes of Richard, Hosea, and other people in HR, they go through your social media accounts to see, okay, this person looks really clean cut on LinkedIn, but then they go to your Instagram and it's mayhem. They go to your TikTok, it's mayhem. So guard your brand, build it and guard it. Make sure you have a clean profile, and make sure that you are active. Don't drop a post once every 6 months and you're like, oh, hi, I'm back. I was doing things. And you have to be deliberate. And that's why you need to really carve out time. Say maybe if you're going to do once a week, say once a week I'm going to put a post. I'm going to share my thoughts on this. So be very deliberate about how often you're going to do it, because if you just leave it to chance, then you may never really do it. You'll end up just scrolling through LinkedIn and never doing your own things. So make sure you have some time allocated. I'm going to be doing a post once every week. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this once every week, once every 2 days or so, and so on and so forth, because you don't know if your next job, if your next opportunity will come from there. So don't keep your knowledge to yourself. So LinkedIn and other social media platforms are very powerful for that. There's the rise of the TikTok and the rise of the Instagram and so on and so on. And X is also very good for that. But make sure you are not a multi-personality person. When we look at you on LinkedIn, who is this versus when we look at you on TikTok. So always keep a very professional profile when it comes to that. And that's closely tied into thought leadership. In whatever sphere you're in, make sure you are giving advice, you are writing, offer that thought leadership, all those years of experience. Make sure you share it with other people, the next people of leaders that are coming up. Put thought-provoking information out there. And then there's that power of networking. And I know Richard speaks about this all the time. Network is not about picking as many cards or exchanging as many numbers as possible, but it's about building really authentic relationships. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, and the final thing is storytelling. And this is also a very big thing in the area that I work in, which is journalism. It's about telling stories. So it's not just like, it's show, don't tell. You've probably heard that. Don't say, I'm an expert personal finance moderator. You show. Let people be able to deduce from the kind of content that you give that you are that expert moderator when it comes to personal finance. You don't have to start saying, I'm the best. I'm the best. Show, don't tell. And that's why it's important to keep on offering your thought leadership, keep writing, keep speaking, and networking in the right places and with the right people. And now it comes to networking. Richard, after I go through networking, maybe you will tell me if there's some comments in the comment section, and then we can sample those as we go along. So let me just go through networking, then you can chime in through the comments section. So as I mentioned, networking is not about exchanging as many numbers as possible. It's about meaningful and impactful professional relationships. And people always like, oh, I'm going for a networking event. And the whole idea is to get as many contacts as possible. But as we've said, it's not about collecting numbers. It's about building authentic relationships. And that comes from offering value. And if you're going to level up your career, one thing you need to learn is that it's not about you getting as much from people as you can. It's about giving value. Those who succeed in the long term, those who make an impact in whatever sphere that they do, give a value to the people that they work with, people that they serve. So stop looking at it only from like, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? What can you give? What value can you give? What impact can you give when you're networking? And if you look at it from that way, then you will find that you are a valuable, indispensable resource. So look at it from that. And then the other thing that you need to think about is getting mentors, sponsors, and career advocates. And we'll break down each of those. So mentorship is very important. You know, we talk about having an accountability partner. If you're walking this journey of life and your career alone, then you are not likely going to level up, because the reality of life is you need somebody to sound off some ideas from. You need somebody who's going to call you out when you're not living your best life, when you're not doing things in the right way. So you need a mentor, and you cannot, we've talked about doing the self-work, but you cannot analyze yourself completely. There are blind spots, of course, because of bias and other things that you may not see in yourself that other people will see in you. And that's why there are things like 360-degree feedback, because to you, you might think, I am the best leader, I'm the best person in this field. And then when you get that 360 feedback, you realize, whoa, I'm not really the best. And I remember I was talking to somebody one time, and she's a leader, and she was saying that for the longest time, she was very ambitious. She was doing her thing, and she thought, you know what, I am leading this team and I'm doing it so well. And then they had this 360 feedback appraisals, and then all the people working under her said she was the worst boss they had ever worked with. And it just made her take a step back and reflect. And she was like, oh my goodness, you know, I get the results done, but am I being humane? Do I have that human part of me working? So have mentors so that you can bounce off of them and see, like, okay, you think you're doing well here, but could you change things, the way you do things here and there? So make sure you have a mentor. And then a sponsor. A sponsor is the kind of person who is going to take you forward in leaps and bounds. That person who says, you know what, I believe in you and I'm going to help you take you to the next level. Because, you know, they say that you're just one person away from that dream job, that dream opportunity that you want. When you have a sponsor, somebody who believes in you and has decided that they're going to help you, and of course you have to have the skills. Please remember, in all this, you have to have the skills. We're not talking about sponsoring people who are just going to go there and embarrass people, and people are wondering, why did you choose this person? No, sponsor is, and let me even break it down, because sponsor, we're not talking about the sponsor in the Kenyan context, that's ponyo thing. We are talking about a career sponsor in your workplace, that person who sees your potential, who knows you're able to perform, and is able to take you to the rooms that you would not be able to get to by yourself. So make sure you are making that sponsor proud of you by delivering to that standard. And then that career advocate, you need somebody to keep on pushing for you to go to the next level. So make sure you have those in place. At this point, Richard, do we have any comments in the comment section or any questions before we proceed?
Yeah, we have comments, fast and furious. We have Diana Modoni. She's laughing, ha, 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 confidence. In fact, I train public speaking, and one of the first modules is confidence. So she's saying that you need confidence to get unstuck. Then there is Simon Frank. I know one day you will invite us to TZ, so that we can take those very wonderful cashew nuts. He's saying, I'm not where I want. I am trying my best by looking the gaps I have through various requirements in the market. And this year, I'm chasing with soft skills and leadership skills for the higher position. Then we have Sheila getting training in artificial intelligence. Nelson, I don't know if it's my friend Nelson, but Nelson has said upskilling. Then Diana Modonia said 2025, I could like to go and study CHRP, and also looking forward to learning about artificial intelligence and work as a human resource officer. Then we have Njeri Kimani. For someone with a career gap, I am upskilling, did CHRP, and also volunteering to enable me bounce back to the career. And that is why we should have you during the launch of the book.
Yes.
Njeri Kimani, the book is absolutely well researched. You'll be there. Then we have Christine Yoya. I am not aware where I want to be. Christine, you need a thorough career audit. You can talk to me, Hosea, you can talk to Claire. I feel defeated about it and confused as well. I am also at the point in life where I don't know if I am on the right path or not. Then we have B. Doreen. Where do you get sponsors from? And of course, when we say sponsors, we don't mean in the Kenyan parlance of sponsors. We mean it somebody who can speak. No, let me not say what it is. We have our gracious speaker to tell us what is to be a sponsor. How do you look for a sponsor? How do you make one a sponsor?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for those comments. Please keep them coming. And I'm proud of many of you who are talking about that self-work. You are acknowledging, that's the first part. Acknowledging that I'm not where I want to be. Acknowledging that I may not have thought about a plan for my career. That's the first step. And then now you can move to actually planning for the future. And for the lady who's talking about bouncing back, yeah, this is the book for you. Bounce Back, Babe. I have written chapters on how you can move. Even with that career gap, it should not be a reason to hold you back. There are strategies that you can use to move to the next level, to get back into the game. Because yes, it's true, when motherhood comes, sometimes getting back into the game of your career and whatnot is not easy. So look out for details on that book, and I hope to see you at the launch as well, coming soon. So yes, sponsors.
There is another comment here, Claire.
Yes.
There is Joy Kimabi. Starting a new career in a new country is challenging, but I'm hopeful that everything will fall into place. Then we have Diana again. How do I move to the next level of IHR officer?
Hey, thank you so much. So I'd like to start with that question on how to make sure that you get a sponsor. How do you get a sponsor? Now, first of all, remember I said you have to do the self-work. You don't want to be the person who's just sitting back and saying, oh, can an opportunity locate me? We said no victim mentality. We are taking control of our careers, and we are saying we are going to do the work that is needed to take us to the next level. So how you get a sponsor is you must be in the thick of doing what you do. So whatever career that you're in, are you doing the best? Are you offering yourself for those opportunities? You know, there are projects that come along and you may not necessarily have been fronted as one of the people to do the projects, but then you say, you know what, this is somewhere that I think I could use my skills. I could learn a thing or two. I could offer, remember, be of value. Put yourself in those positions. Sometimes it's not about monetary recognition initially. Sometimes it's about value. Remember, if you're only thinking about the monetary aspect, sometimes it becomes difficult. So be that person who's going to offer value. Put yourself up to take on projects that are even beyond you, and then go up to somebody and tell them, you know what, I can offer help there. I can do this and do that. And when you go there, do it and do it well. When you do it and do it well, you will find that there's somebody who is out there who is going to be able to advocate for you. There are different personalities in organizations, and I'm telling you, there's always somebody who is above you, who could see your potential and is willing to work with you if you put the effort, if you are proactive. So go to that person, look at your organization, and I want you to think about it right now as we are speaking. Think of your organization. Who are those people above you that you admire, that you aspire to reach one day? And among these people, who is it that you see is somebody who is for people, somebody who wants people to win? Once you've identified those people, then you need to go and approach this person and tell them, you know what, this is my idea, this is my career trajectory, this is what I would like to accomplish, and I would like to offer myself up for opportunities that come, whether it's within my department or elsewhere. If I can be of value, if I can offer my service, I am willing to do that. And when you have a proactive attitude and one of giving value, then you will find that sponsor who is going to put your name, saying your name in places where you're not in that room. You've heard of that saying. So be proactive, identify the right people, because not everybody has that capability of just working with you, because a sponsor works with you the journey to make sure that you go to the next level. They give you their hand, but you must also deliver. Remember, do not embarrass your sponsor, deliver. Okay, so that is that on that. And then there was somebody also talked about they want to move from the HR officer.
Okay. Okay. There is one from Joy Kimabi. Starting a career in a new country is challenging, but I'm hopeful that everything will fall into place. Then there is Diana. How do I move to the next step of a HR officer?
Okay,
then there is Mary. Then there is Mary. I don't know if you can combine them. There is Mary who's saying, how do I keep myself updated, like hands-on during an employment? Actually, because I've told you I've read this book has some nuggets, some wisdom on how to keep yourself abreast when you are out of employment. Over to you, Claire.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, and indeed, the book has nuggets of how to make sure that you stay in the game even when you're not in the game, so that when you get that opportunity, you hit the ground running. So this, for the person who's talking about your move to another country and you're just trying to settle in and understand the new environment, first of all, congratulations. That is a bold move. To be able to leave your own country, even your own county, is a big step. So you are a bold person. That is courage. It takes courage to move to a new place. There's a different culture. There's a different way of doing things. So what I would encourage you to do is to now start plugging in to organizations that are linked to what you do. So first of all, the easiest way to go about it is online. Remember, I talked about LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, go into your area of operation and start identifying. You know, the good thing about LinkedIn is that you can be as specific as possible. You can narrow down to the area, you can narrow down to the field, look for people within your sphere of influence, and then start reaching out to them. Start forging relationships and start being visible, so that even when people, you reach out to people, they're like, okay, who is this? If I go to your LinkedIn profile and I go through your posts, okay, this is somebody who looks like they know what they're talking about. They look like they're an expert in their field. So start reaching out to people, and the easiest way is online. And then just be present. So wherever your workplace is, make sure you participate in the goings on of the organization. Don't just be, okay, work starts at 8, it ends at 5, and I come and work and I leave. We are human beings at the end of the day. We are relational. So take time to learn about the people that you're working with. Try to understand their culture. Talk to them about what Kenyan culture is, and learn from them. What is your culture like? What are the differences? What are the similarities? If you're able to bond with people beyond the work, a true, authentic relationship, then you will be able to easily integrate. These are the people who will start showing you, oh, you want to get your groceries at an affordable price? Here it is. Make sure you're plugged in. Don't just be an 8 to 5, I go home and that's it. That's that. No, make sure you're plugged in and get to know your colleagues at a deeper level, for those who are willing to share. And you will find that that integration is a little bit easier. And was there any other question that I left out? Oh, I think the lady who talked about bouncing back, yes. Bouncing back, I think I mentioned that a little bit. What are some of the ways that you can bounce back? Okay, so Bounce Back Babe has tips for all women who leave, who get out of the career place, whether it's for maternity leave or for an extended time, whether it's years into, you stayed at home, you wanted to take care of your children, and then you decided to go back when they're a little bit bigger. How do you make sure that you stay up to date? As I said, technology is rapidly evolving. Every sector is rapidly evolving. So what you can do to make sure that you're able to bounce back into your career, if you decide to go back, is one, keep connected with the people that you were working with, people in your industry, not necessarily only the people that you worked with in your organization, people in your industry. Stay up to date. So, you know, sometimes motherhood can be overwhelming, and especially the newborn stage and so on and so forth. But whenever you get a free moment, make sure you keep abreast. Webinars like this, there's some information that you can get. Richard has a lot of webinars that happen every now and then. Danidel has a number of them going on. Make sure you keep abreast with your line of work, whether it's 30 minutes, because I know time is very precious for mothers, especially those very young, earlier years. But make sure you keep abreast with something that is happening in your industry. Talk to people. What are the latest developments? What is happening? And then when time goes, as your children grow bigger, make sure you go for in-person events. You may not be inside the workplace, but when you go for such events, you're able to keep abreast with what is happening, so that when you go back to the workplace, it's not like you're at an interview and you look like you have never practiced in that job. So keep abreast with what's happening, talk to people, attend events, whether it's webinars or in person later, and also keep the LinkedIn courses, keep the Coursera courses. There are so many free tools out there for you to learn. So dedicate time. That's why, remember, I started by saying you must be intentional. Don't wait for somebody to push you. Be intentional that I'm going to set 1 hour, even if it's 1 hour a week, to learning. Okay, so you're out of a job, but there are thousands upon thousands of courses online. Set that 1 hour a week to learn a course. Okay, keep abreast with what's happening, and then it will be much easier to transition. Yes, I think I've answered all the questions, Richard.
Very good. Now you can proceed to the next
Yes.
part of your discussion.
Yes. So now, how to attract those career opportunities? And I think I've already talked about some of them in the previous slides, and even from the questions that came up. So remember, I said that you must position yourself as a go-to person in your field. When you think about your area of practice, are you one of the key people that somebody can go to when they want to find out information about your area of practice? Or are you just, oh, that's just another person who does marketing, for example? That's just another person in the finance department. Are you an expert in your area of practice? Okay. Make sure that you position yourself as the go-to person in your field. That is mastery. Remember, I talked about mastery, and that needs continuous lifelong learning. Make sure you become very, very good at what you're doing, so that in case anybody needs information on anything, you are the top of mind for that thing. Okay, so there's no way about it. There's no two ways about it. You must become a master of your field, and that takes being deliberate. Then the next thing is the art of making and maximizing connections, because you can be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows, then you're going to be there. You're going to be stuck. Okay, and we said we want to get you unstuck, and we want you to level up. So make sure that you are maximizing on connections. If you have all this information and no one knows, I told you, go to LinkedIn, share that thought leadership. People start knowing, oh, if I want to know about personal finance, Claire knows about that. I've seen her talking about it. If it's about motherhood things, Claire, I've seen her talking about those kind of things. It's to do with digital journalism. I've seen her talking about that. So make sure you maximize connections so that people know what you have to offer. And that's why whenever you're somewhere, make sure you've heard about the elevator pitch. Really think about it. When I'm describing myself and what I do, of course, you're more than what your job is, but you should be able to explain what you do and your area of expertise. Okay, so make sure you have those connections, and make sure that you position yourself as a master of your field. Now to the work-life integration and thriving as a professional mom. And that's going to the lady who had just asked that question, and all the others in this webinar who are talking about that, and even the men, because the men need to support their spouses to make sure that they thrive as a family. And this is something I'm very, very passionate about. How do you find balance when it comes to career growth and also maintaining your personal well-being? Now, you must be able to manage your time very efficiently, your time and your energy. Don't be the kind of person that you have no plan. You go to work, I log in, I go into my emails, I go to my emails at 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., 10. No, you must be very, very focused. You have to have laser focus when it comes to managing your time, because you have so many things. You have your personal life, you have your children, you have your family, then you have work. And you do not want to be seen as, oh, that person who is unproductive, because sometimes people want to try and use that against moms, that, oh, this is an unproductive person because of their children. Don't allow people to use that against you. So you must have laser focus. So have a plan for your day. Remember, we talked about documenting. What do I want to do? Have a checklist. Today, I have to check my emails. That will always be within your sphere, depending on what you do. I have this project. I have to get to this level by today. I have to go and meet a client at this time. I have to do. So you must have a checklist and go through it, and then make sure that you keep to it. If you let your days flow, I'm telling you, you will be very unproductive. So you must have laser focus. Have a checklist and go through it each day to make sure, have I been able to achieve this? Have I not? So be very, very deliberate about having a checklist and ensuring that you guard your time and energy properly. Then you must also set boundaries, okay? Because they say that work never ends. It's you who finishes. Work doesn't finish, it's you who finishes. So you don't want to be burnt out. You finishing is burnout. So make sure that you say that, you know what, I'm able to do this much in a project. Beyond that, I have other obligations. I have my family, I have my children. I have to have my own self-care time. So don't be available to everybody at every time. If you're available to everyone at every time, you will burn out and you will be unproductive. So set boundaries. Say that this is the much that I can do. Beyond that, find somebody else and be firm about it, okay? And don't be afraid, okay? Because sometimes people are like, if I say this, what's going to happen to my job? No. That's why you need to be an expert at what you do. If you're very good at what you do and you offer value to wherever you are, then people will understand, okay, when she says that she's tired and she's not available, we let her go, because when she's here, she delivers. So be a person who delivers. Then some practical tips, as I said, is having that checklist, making sure that you have your boundaries, and then setting some time for yourself. Self-care is very important. They say that self-care is not selfish. It's very important, okay? Self-care does not mean you're being selfish. It's just taking care of yourself first so that you can pour from a full cup, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So take time to do that thing that you enjoy, whether it's just listening to a webinar like today, whether it's listening to music, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's going for a walk. Take time for yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. And before we sample some other questions, I'd like to talk a little bit about the book that is coming up. There it is. The Bounce Back Babe. It is coming out next month, but it's available for pre-orders for all of you. And I said it's not just moms, dads, because you are supporting people, brothers, sisters, everybody. This book is for you. The Bounce Back Babe is a book that I wrote out of pure passion for ensuring that women thrive in their finances, in their careers, in their mental health, and in their fitness. So I deal with those three areas, making sure that you're fit. How do you make sure that you're...
Price, there's Simon who's asking the price.
Yes, it's 1,500. I will share with you actually there. You can take a screenshot of that, the details of how you can get the book, the payment place that you can make and all that. So Bounce Back Babe is basically a book about preparing yourself. And I did it from a perspective of not just when you're expecting, because as I said, you must be intentional. So being intentional means preparation before. So this book covers the area of preconception through pregnancy and then the first year of postpartum. And it's how to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and financially to ensure that you're able to bounce back in every area of your life. So your finances, how do you make sure that even as you earn here, you're not just earning and then you're eating your money and then next month living hand to mouth? We are not about that. We're about saving. We're about investing. We are about building a legacy for our children and our children's children. So as I said, I have a degree up to master's level in finance. So I bring in that expertise in this book. And I talk to you in a very simplified way of how you can manage your finances. How do you take care of your finances in a way that you're building for the future? What are some of the tools that you can use to start taking care of your finances, building what you already have? What are the ways that you can start looking at increasing your salary? How do you even go about having that conversation? Because sometimes for some people, it's a very uncomfortable conversation. So how do you go about it? How do you start documenting the kind of things that you are doing in the organization that you are in, so that when you go and approach your supervisor for a raise, you're able to justify this? I talk about mental health because it's very important. You cannot pour from an empty cup. That I just said that. How do you ensure that you're taking care of your mental health in a way that ensures that you are productive and living a full life? And then physically, fitness is very important, because there's something about fitness. When you exercise, it affects your mental health in such a powerful way. So I'm a big advocate for making sure that you are fit. What are some of the ways that you can go about it? At the beginning of this webinar, I talked about there are many people who say that this year they're walking 5,000 steps, they're joining the gym, they're walking, they're working out, they're doing this, they're doing that. But March, and you realize a lot of people threw that out of the window. So we talk about fitness. We talk about taking care of our bodies. What are we ingesting? There are people talking about, diets. There's all that intermittent fasting. There's all that, that Ozempic. There's so much controversy about that diabetes drug that is now being used for weight loss and whatnot. But this is all about natural ways of taking care of your body, how to keep fit, how to make sure you're ingesting the right things, your finances, and your mental health. And it has areas for reflection you can write down, because I've talked about the power of journaling. and so much more. So I'd encourage you to get that book. The book will be out in the next couple of weeks, but you can pre-order. We're taking pre-orders right now. You can make that payment, and then we will have the book out for you. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Richard to sample if there are any other questions, or if somebody would like to ask a question or make a comment live, I'd be happy to have you on now. Thank you so much.
Very well done. Very well done. As we wait for somebody to unmute themselves, there is Mary Baibu. How do I keep myself updated, like hands-on during employment? No. That one has been answered. There is Doreen B. Thank you for the insights. Being proactive stands out. Then there is Joy Kimadi. Thank you, Claire, for the tips. Then there is Brenda. Thank you for the insights. Then there is Leah Jinu. I really needed these amazing insights. Bouncing back to a career can feel like a whole new world. Then Simon Frank has said 3 books from me. Then Mary is asking, is the book going to be available as a hard copy or soft copy for 1,500? Diana has said, thank you very much for the webinar. Thank you very much. Now, as I know your photographic memory will pick those questions. Another question I want to ask. The fish will always be the last person to know that it is in water. That you are unstuck, but you do not know. No, you are stuck, but you do not know whether you should do something about it. What are the telltale signs that you are stuck?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your active participation, for all those questions. And I'll go through those first, and then I'll go to Richard's question. So yes, this is the hard copy version. That is 1,500. So yes, once you pay that amount, we'll be able to deliver the hard copy version for you in the next couple of weeks. For the one who talked about they'll take 3 copies, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the support. The details are over there. I'd encourage you to just take a screenshot of them, and you can make your order for them. Then the person who said that being proactive is what stands out. Yes, it all begins with being intentional. And then that person who said they don't know how to move from point A to point B. As I talked about in this presentation, the first thing is being aware. So you're on the right track. At least you know that work needs to be done. Now, the next step is journaling. Put down, where do I want to be? Where am I? You already determined where you are, and it's not where you want to be. Where do I need to go? And from that, then those tips that I talked about, upskilling, go for those free courses, learn a little bit more, and then seek out those people who can help you go to the next level and be of value. Remember, I said it's not always about taking out. If you go from that perspective of what can I get, you're not going to go far. Be a person of value. What can I give? And you will see the results from that. Then yes, Richard, what you said, sometimes you're stuck and you don't know that you're stuck. You're just moving, you think everything is fine, but you are actually stuck. Now, what are the telltale signs that you are stuck? First of all, you have been at the same area of operation for a period of time, and your work is not expanding. You're learning nothing new. And be I'm very deliberate about saying nothing new, because sometimes people have this focus of vertical ascent. That's not the only way to grow. It's not always about, okay, I need to go to now, I'm an HR officer, I need to be an HR manager, I need to be HR director. That's not the only way to grow. Right now, it's a jungle gym. Jungle gym is the way you should look at your career in terms of jungle gym is like sometimes you're going up, sometimes you're going horizontally, but you are moving. You're not moving back, but you're going different areas. So look at it like this. If you are in the finance sector, you are an accountant, you've been doing accounting for a couple of years, and you look at it, you look at marketing, and you're like, this is something I'm interested in. It's not my area of expertise, but it's something that I could learn. Now, going to a project, remember that I told you that sometimes you can offer yourself up for a project. In a project, there will be people from different departments. Now, you're starting to learn about how marketers go about doing what they do. That is being deliberate. That is making yourself unstuck, multi-skilling. Okay, so a sign that you are stuck is that you are at the same skill level you were even a year ago. Yes, even a year ago. When you look at yourself in March 2024 versus March 2025, can you say to yourself that I have a new skill? I'm not necessarily saying you've gone back to get a diploma, you have a certificate or whatnot, but do you have a new skill in your career? Or it's same old, same old? So if it's same old, then you are stuck. You think you're doing something, but you are stuck. Okay? So you must be elevating, constantly elevating. Even if it's learning about the basics of AI, that is upskilling. So you must constantly be learning something new. You cannot be talking to me a year from now and it's same old, you have not learned anything in your career, not even in something different, a different department, same old, same old. So no, refuse that. Be a person who keeps on learning, lifelong learning, okay? So that is a telltale sign. Another sign that you are stuck is that you are unbothered. Yani you come in, you log into work, you do bare minimum. You have the bare minimum attitude. That is a sign that you are stuck. Mimi, my pay grade says that I do this. That is above my pay grade. You've heard people who talk like that. Can you do this and that? That is above my pay grade. You are stuck. That kind of mentality is a sign of a person who is stuck, because you are supposed to be ever learning. Of course, we all want to grow in our careers. We all want to get a bigger check. We want to get a higher amount of money. But if you have got to the point where it's like, you know what, liwe liwalo, I don't care. I do my bare minimum and I go, you are stuck and you need to unstuck yourself. Another thing is that you're not proactively trying to resolve things. You're just okay with what's going on. You don't want to innovate. Okay, so innovation is key. You need to be constantly thinking of ways to innovate within your career. So those are telltale signs that you are stuck. And we said, this is the year we're getting unstuck. So think of yourself. Where do you fall? Are you the kind of person who's like, you know what? I log in 8 to 5. Don't tell me anything else. Bare minimum, I'm out. If that is you, you need to sit back. Take an audit of yourself. What do you need to do? Are you upskilling? Have you learned something in the last year that you didn't know? Take an audit. Okay? So yeah, those are some of the 3 signs that I would say are signs that you are stuck. Richard.
Very good. As you enjoy that cup of tea or hibiscus tea or drink of your preference, prepare for your parting shot. Hosea, I know there is a training coming up. What is it?
Thank you, Richard. So next we are going to have a training on policy development. This is for the HR enthusiasts. That's Richard's words, enthusiasts, yeah, about how to develop policies with the changing times. Because as you may note, there's a lot of changes in government and policies, and we are approaching also the new finance bill. We don't know how it would go about. So it means policies would keep changing. Like in the last 1 year, we've had so much activity in terms of policy development and updating. So we will be tackling a topic on policy development and the practical essence of it. So we'll be able to share that poster. For those who are interested, I've left in the chat, we have request for feedback. If you need to book any of our services, there's the link there. And then if you need to join our WhatsApp community, you can join using the link also there. So we will be sharing much more information as the poster is rolled out in the course of this weekend. Yeah. Looking forward to having all those that are interested, and we'll have a good time in that particular session as well.
Thank you so much, Hosea.
Okay.
Claire Munde,
Yes.
your closing remarks, your parting shots, what you want people to remember from this 1 hour that has been priceless to me, if you ask me.
Thank you.
What do you want people to remember?
Thank you so much. And thank you so much again to Richard and to Hosea and to Danidel for putting this together and for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform and talk to your followers on this idea of leveling up and getting unstuck. Now, if there's one thing that I want you to leave this webinar with, is that you must be intentional. Nobody is going to unstuck you. You are totally and wholly responsible for your career. So you must be deliberate about the steps you need to take to get unstuck and to move to the next level of your career. So as we close, and we'll be having more of these sessions, I just want to encourage you to be intentional, go for that which you want, document it, and be bold and courageous about it. And as I said, Bounce Back Babe is coming out in the next couple of weeks. Pre-orders are available. So I have put that, please take a screenshot if you haven't already. The book talks about career, finances, your mental health, and your physical fitness. All these come together to ensure that you are able to bounce back into the workplace and ensure that you thrive in the workplace. So get it for yourself, get it for your sister, your daughter, somebody, any woman in your life. Remember, I said it's not just about pregnancy, it's about your finances. It's about your mental health. So get it for somebody, a copy. It's the hard copy is available for 1,500 shillings. The details on making payments are there. And I hope to see you all again very soon. And I'd like to wish you all a good evening.
Wow. If everybody spoke the way you speak, then it means I'll start farming avocados. I will not have business. You've done quite an amazing job. God bless you for creating this time. My name is Richard J. Magoma, a human resource professional, a trainer, public speaking expert, an events MC. Until next time, next month, or this month, I think, see you and God bless.
Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful evening.
Good evening.